What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid-trance meets hard house, which is essentially the essence of Canon Records. Allow me to explain. So Canon Records is one of the labels run by Choci, who was one of the early label bosses in the acid techno, acid trance scene, and by the mid to late 90s, his labels and his releases were mainly about acid trance specifically. Indeed, his Choci's Tunes records, or I think maybe it was his VCF. Those are two. His original label was Choci's Tunes, then he came out with VCF, and eventually Canon, I think, was the third of his sublabels. But on the VCF releases, on the sleeves, it would say, the only acid trance shop in London. So eventually he was more on the acid trance, hard trance side of the acid world, whereas, Stay Up Forever and Rootmaster and Smitten were more on the acid techno side. But there was definitely cross-pollination between all those people and labels. And as I said, he eventually came out with VCF, which was a specifically flavored sublabel of acid trance and hard trance, as fireworks go off outside. And then eventually Canon Records came out. This one's from '98, and I think that's right around when this label began. And it was happening at the time when hard house had begun to blend with, or in some places overtake, the hard trance scene that had been dominant in the years before. There's two versions on here. The other version is by John Doe. It's a remix, and John Doe is another figure who was very prominent in the hard house, hard trance hybrid territory, but I do prefer Choci's Pagan mix, is what it's called. I do believe it's the original mix, but it's given the name Pagan mix. And yeah, you might see here this little pink sticker. It says Vinyl Fetish. I've talked about it in some videos. There were a couple different Vinyl Fetish locations in the Southern California rave world. There was one off of Melrose. Maybe that one was even more famous, but the one off of Vermont is the one I started going to regularly and became one of my haunts to buy records, if you will. And so there's a lot of records in my collection which have that little pink sticker there. But yeah, this tune is driving. It's wicked. It has hard house style percussion in some ways, but it has very much the burning, blazing acid of an acid trance release from the mid-90s as well. And yeah, ultimately, it even has a bit of a psychedelic flavor. It sounds sort of like acid-heavy, angry psychedelic trance, so it's got a few different trance/hard house flavors in it. Let's listen. This is from Canon Records, 1998, DJ Choci and his spaced-out Pagan mix. And as Samuel L. once said, hold on to your butts. Waiting to see if it's 45 or 33. Kick drum. Already so many different percussive rhythms.
It's so fucking spaced out, they won't even know it. They're so fucking spaced out, they won't even know it.
That's a sharp acid stab. We got acid war cry.
They're so fucking spaced out, they won't even know it. spaced out, they won't even know it. Man, it's fucking pagan idolatry. Look around you.
Look around you. I don't know what the samples are from, but well chosen. That laugh though, I laughed at the laugh.
Man, it's fucking pagan
It's like this very cheeky, almost animalistic laugh. It'll come back. Like a dark bank of clouds coming at you.
Man, it's fucking pagan idolatry. Look around you.
First time I heard this, it was like, what? Where did that come from? Like an acidic psychedelic storm. So now we know the precursor to that laugh. He's wacko. He's worse than crazy. He's evil. But I don't know what any of those samples are, and I don't know if that particular sample set is the same as the... they're so spaced out they won't even know it. But yeah, the first time I heard that, and it was in the record shop, it's, I was well aware of Choci's work, and I probably had a Canon record before this. I have like 4 or 5 of them. I have way fewer than I have VCF or Choci's tunes, most of which for both of those labels I have. And they have many more releases. I think Canon has comparatively much fewer. or many fewer, much fewer, I'm not sure. Definitely fewer, which is for discrete countable objects like buckets of water, bottles of sand, I suppose, as opposed to continuous, non-countable entities where you use less. This is a now arcane grammatical point, but yes, I have a handful of these records, and I don't think this one was the first, but I remember listening to it in the record shop, and I was enjoying it. It's like, ooh, it's wicked, it's got a lot of acid, it's really fiery and driving. And then it gets into that breakdown where, again, there's like organ. Like I was thinking when the organ first came in, even before the breakdown, it's like, oh, I bet you didn't think there would be an organ in this tune. But yeah, it almost has this uplifting ambient feel, but then that rattling storm cloud of hard synth comes in, and it sort of gets more intense, fades away a little bit, and then comes back quickly. You get the sample, and the whole storm, the whole cloud bank of acidic lightning just drops on you, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, alright, well I don't need to listen to any more, I'm gonna buy this immediately. So yeah, it went into the bag very quickly. I don't remember playing it at too many parties because I feel like it was one of those tunes where, like, should I use it in an acid-trance set? Should I use it in a wicked psychedelic trance set? Like if I'm spinning Green Nuns or something like that, Green Nuns of the Revolution, I just used one of their tunes, Ring of Fire, as the last track in my Psychedelic Flights Trip 6 mix, to give you a sense of what flavor I was thinking. So the point is, because it was kind of a hybrid tune, I don't remember playing it at too many parties, but I definitely used it at mixtapes, and it's definitely one I'm very fond of. So shout out to Choci, it's a really great track. Shout out to Canon Records, even if by comparison VCF and Choci's tunes will always be more important in the history of, you know, my understanding of acid music and acid trance, and, you know, the way it began to blend with hard house as it got toward the end of the 90s, which I would say even VCF did the same thing. Like Choci's work in general headed that direction. So the later VCF and a lot of the Canon stuff, it's got some percussive sonics that mix that hard house flavor. And indeed, the opening of this one, it comes in and it has that tumbling like tom drum rhythm, then it comes in with a hi-hat, then it's got another like rendition of hi-hats, and it just keeps adding those rhythmic percussive layers before finally that rocking heavy bass line comes in. So I like the progression of the tune as well, and just an epic legendary drop, if I can remind my mouth how to speak. Do let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.